In a soup over her pro-colonialism remarks last week, former DA leader Helen Zille is now finding faults with her own party strategies.
She's accused Maimane-led party of copying ANC's philosophy of African racial nationalism. Interestingly, she goes on to say that she's deeply grateful for the DA's legacy, if she may call it colonial, of due process of law.
Zille had caused a storm last week after she suggested on Twitter that colonialism had contributed positively to modern South Africa. Facing disciplinary action, she has now chosen to train guns at her own party.
Well, Jabu Mahlangu, Sanko national spokesperson, joins us right now on the phone line. A very good morning to you, Jabu. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, a DA, Helen Zille, says that the DA is copying the ANC's racial agenda and that it may lead to institutionalization of corruption. Well, how do you read into these remarks?
Well, I think what we had said last time, around and we've been consistent in raising this matter, is that the DA is going to find it very difficult to be a party that they claim they are or wanting to be. South Africa is a country that is moving forward, and every party that does not have as part of its DNA non-racialism, it's going to be very difficult to merge people who have joined that party out of anger and other matters. The DA, you would remember that when Lindy were the first black leader who was, I think Lindy, I can't remember the surname now, who went to the U.S., when she complained about Zille's behavior, in response, Zille indicated that she actually made Lindy. And we know now that Musi and the rest of the other people would fall in the same category. They are recruited and made by the Zilles of this world. And their major assignment is that they should protect the white privilege. They should make sure that white supremacy is maintained and that the ethos of racism should actually be protected within the DNA. So it's going to be very difficult for anyone to be anything else outside Zille. We must remember that actually the DA is Zille, and anything outside here will not stand. But we can only wish them well that they really de-racialize that party, which is in the main a majority party, white party that pursues the interests of whites. And you can see in the Western Cape how developments occurs, where resources are located and directed and rolled out in areas where your rich, which happens to be white, resides. Even projects that were meant to assist black people, like the My City project, it has not gone to Kaili, Chalang, Banyanga, the Philippi and other places. It has gone to the suburbs and the upmarket areas. So nothing will change. Like I said, there's a price to pay to join a party that does not necessarily embrace a particular ethos, in this case, non-racialism. But there's no going back in South Africa, and we can only wish those people in the leadership to make a breakthrough. We saw what happened in the previous incidents where you had blacks among the DA who would speak out. They have been thrown out, but every white that has made racial slurs has been protected. And I can tell you now, there is no way the DA will expunge or expel Zille. She will remain part of the organization because that's what the organization is. So, and we didn't expect anything else. You remember that there was a time when people were accused to be refugees. People were coming in the midst of the Eastern Cape, locating within the Western Cape, which is their own country. Because the Freedom Charter says the people shall be where they want to be. They can travel, and the Bill of Rights does allow us to be anywhere we want to. But people in the Western Cape not long ago, they were told that they were refugees. So if the DA was unable to reign over Zille sufficiently during that time, What else can you expect now?
Well, already facing flack for her pro-colonialism remarks, Zille says she is deeply grateful for the DA's legacy, supposedly colonial legacy of due process of law. Is Zille again hailing the colonial era?
Well, I lost you a little bit. I could hear that you were talking about colonialism, but your voice was very
Let me
faint.
just reframe that question for you. She's already facing flack for her pro-colonialism remarks. Zille says she is deeply grateful for the DA's legacy, supposedly colonial legacy of due process of law. Is Zille again hailing the colonial era?
Definitely, she will always. That's who Zille is, and we can't expect anything else. She's a beneficiary of racism. She's a beneficiary of apartheid, and one cannot expect her to be saying anything else. Otherwise, she'll be going against her own DNA.
Well, Jabu, do you think that there are any flaws in the philosophy of African racial nationalism, or is Helen Zille just using the stick to get back at her own party?
Well, I hold a view, and indeed perhaps it may not directly answer to your question, that South Africa's current evolution is informed by, or should be informed by, the ethos of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and non-racialism. And indeed, but like I said earlier on, the DA's make-up is a very difficult combination, because at the basis of their Constitution, issues of integration is superfluous. It's just a question as to how many people we agree to be doing window dressing for them. So it's a difficult journey. And indeed, some of those things will possibly come out as they engage into what is called the PC, which I don't think it will actually come up with anything else.
Well, thank you, Jabu Mahlangu, it's SANK's national spokesperson, for joining us on the phone line and giving us his views on Helen Zille's statements.